It's vodka o'clock. And that means it's time for another episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club. Hello. Welcome to the $1 Billion Movie Club. Each and every week, we look at movies that made money. And then we're like, hey, how does money work? How does art work? What is art and the meaning of life? I am your host, Christian Masinson. And as always, I'm joined with
Pawan Mehta.
Hello, Pawan Mehta.
So that was me and you. But today we're not talking about me or you. We're talking about
Whoa.
us.
Oh, that's adorable. Yes, this is the film, Jordan Peele's 2019 horror film, Us. Now, you may ask, Christian, Pawan, Us didn't make $1 billion.
No, it did not.
Yeah, it's our podcast. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
This is episode 20.5, baby.
Yeah, half point. Yeah, we're gonna do every 10 episodes. We're gonna do a little detour in the tour that is the $1 Billion Movie Club. And we chose this week to tour the US. The Us.
Is there going to be a point where we don't tour the US?
We went to Abu Dhabi.
That's true.
In Furious 7. We went to Hong Kong and in Age of Extinction. We went to Pandora in Avatar. And I hated that one.
I can't believe we afforded those tickets.
You know what?
What do I know?
I thought I had something.
I guess vodka o'clock isn't hitting for him just yet.
Us came out on March 22nd, 2019 with a budget of $20 million. In its opening weekend, the film made $71.1 million and was number one at the box office. It became the second best opening for a live-action original film after Avatar, $77 million, as well as the third best total for a horror film after It and the 2018 remake of Halloween. It is also the best ever opening for an original horror film not based on a known property, taking that title from A Quiet Place Part 1. It was number one for 1 weekend until it was dethroned by a film. Juan, did you remember that Tim Burton made a movie called Dumbo?
Oh my God.
I forgot until I was looking at this, but that dethroned this movie.
With Danny DeVito in it.
Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton, Eva Green, a bunch of Colin Firth, I believe. The Us would go on to make $175 million domestically and $255 worldwide. At the time, in the year of 2019, it was the 12th highest grossing film domestically. Something I didn't notice. Us made $175 domestically. Get Out, Peele's previous film, made $176 million domestically. And yet, they both made $255 worldwide. So made less domestically, but about equal worldwide.
Interesting.
Very odd. Pawan, what happens in this movie?
So there's a little girl. She's at the fair, and then she's with her dad, and dad's like, "I'm gonna watch her." He's playing that whack-a-mole. She's like, "I'm gonna wander about," and then she gets lost. She goes to this mirror place, and then there's another her that's but not a mirror version, but an actual version, and then bunnies. And then we flash forward about 15, 20 years. And now she's heading towards the beach, being like, I'm going to have a vacation with my family. And her husband's like, let's go to that beach where this traumatic thing happened to you. And then she's like, I don't want to go to that beach where this traumatic thing happened to me. And he's like, please. And she's like, fine. So they go. And then more traumatic things happen.
I never know when to stop you or not. Because I know there's going to be more gold if you keep going. But I also don't know if you found the gold and then want to stop it there. But yeah, that's pretty much what happens in this movie. Did you watch this movie when it came out?
I did. Actually, funny story about that. I was initially going to see this with friends at college.
Okay.
So like the plan was we were gonna like finish class and then we'd head to the movie.
Hmm.
But then I just in the middle of that class, I was like, bruh, I cannot be here anymore. So I went back to my dorm room and then I went to sleep.
I'm confused. What happened to in the class?
I don't know. It's just like mentally, I just couldn't be there. And then like I
Oh
left
no.
in the middle of class. And like the professor was cool. We were friends. So like she
That's
got it.
nice.
And then like I woke up like an hour and a half later to like text like, yo, where are you? We're about to go into the movie. And I was like, well, I guess I missed that. And then I caught it later back in my hometown with my brother.
Oh, so it's a nice little sibling date night.
Yeah.
I think I saw this twice in theaters because I had different friends that wanted to watch it. It was and I enjoyed this movie very much.
I mean, in a sense, I could have seen it twice if I didn't
You have
sleep
seen it
through the
twice.
first one.
You have seen it twice now.
In theaters. In
I
theaters.
see. I
Let me
see.
add a caveat in there. Just
Oh, you dropped that like a
I
little
dropped the
name.
caveat. Yeah, yeah.
The caveat.
Yes.
Wow. One, I think this is gonna be a confusing discussion because typically we don't use the character names, we use the actor names, and everyone's playing multiple roles in this movie.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out as we
So
go along.
the way we could do it is like the normal version and the red version.
But that's really weird with Lupita.
The
Uh,
normal version and the red version.
Reminder. Oh, so this turned into Pokemon. There's
Oh,
two
okay.
versions. One being the red version.
Oh, are you making a judgment? Like, you know what? You could have the normal version, which was the blue version, or the green version, whichever one was first. And like,
Yeah,
you could have the other, which is the red. Like,
yeah,
that's if
because
you want to be like an outsider.
fuck Charizard, overrated. I love
Listen,
Charizard, but
you're
overrated
wearing
in
red
Pokemon.
right now.
I
And
know it's a
so am
tribute to
I.
this film. It's a tribute to this film. All right. I have nothing against the color red.
No,
Great
no, no,
color.
no. You just said fuck the other side. Meanwhile, you're repping the other side.
Fuck. So this movie, I'm a big fan of this movie.
I enjoyed it as well.
I think of this is gonna sound really weird. My brain intertwines Jordan Peele with Greta Gerwig. Both of their debuts came out in 2017, Get Out and Lady Bird, both nominated for Best Director. If my memory is correct, Peele was the fifth black man nominated for Best Director, and Greta's the fifth woman nominated for Director, happened in the same year. 2 years later, they have their next films, Us and Little Women. I think both are such a grand scope and much more ambitious than the original
Wait,
movie.
wait. They both came out the same year?
Yeah, 17 and 19.
No, I mean Little Women and Us came out in the
Yes.
same year.
Us was March and the Little Women was December. Time means
Wow.
nothing.
Okay.
What does that mean? Yeah. Yeah. Life means nothing because time means nothing. But yeah, I think I also watched Get Out just for the hell of it recently, and I think Get Out is the more slicker and more much more straightforward movie. But I appreciate
Yes.
the ambition and the large ideas Peele is playing within this movie.
Yes, this feels a lot less straightforward and in a sense a little bit less blockbuster. Just a
Hmm.
little bit less.
I don't think either of them feel blockbuster at all.
I mean, it feels like Get Out had a lot more like crowd cheering moments.
Okay, okay. Less crowd
Less
pleasing.
less crowd work with this one.
Yes. Oh, so wait. So also when you saw Get Out, did Jordan Peele come out in before the movie and was like doing a little tight five about the crowd, whoever's in the crowd?
Yeah, he had to open for his own movie.
But yeah, you're right. There's less. I do remember watching this. I do remember the moments when the audience would like cheering and laughter or shocked or angry at what's going on the screen. But it does lack the sigh of relief that Get Out has at the end.
Right.
And I think that's intentional.
Mhm.
I think uh this is gonna be a much more analytical episode than we're used to.
I mean, this is a movie all about like it's entrenched in metaphors and like analogies and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The first one we got to talk about is something I didn't talk about in my synopsis.
Hmm.
The Hands Across America. What the hell is that?
I think that's a natural thing.
It was, but like why?
Um, it's with so much of this movie is about this connection, right?
Mhm.
This idea that your actions have an effect on other people, and this weird divide that we kind of force ourselves into, right? And we don't want to. I the third time watching this movie, I sympathized with the tethered versions of everyone a lot more. Like when the tethered dad yelps across the lake, I remember the audience laughing with it, but it felt a little more uh uh I don't know, I sympathized with it more. It felt a little more innocent and naive and I don't know.
Well, I feel like something Jordan Peele is good at as a director is like balancing on that line of like laughter and like scary and like feeling bad for and all that.
Hmm.
There's like a lot of things you feel at once in terms of these performances,
Hmm.
which
But
also props to the actors, but like it also feels like it took a deft hand to sort of
yes,
navigate those to like create an overall tone for the piece that can fit all of that.
yes. But I think something that can be forgotten early on is the fact that these weird clones of them are human beings with emotions as well.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out how we got to this topic at first. What did you say?
I was talking about Hands Across America.
Yeah. And so it's about reaching over and sympathizing and understanding that this other side uh has their issues and you can't just try to move past them. It hit me the line that Lupita has when she's hugging her son at the end and she says everything's going to be like it was before, as if you're able to just ignore the fact that these weird clones have come and killed all of you, and it is possible to go back to this kind of state of ignorant bliss before
Mhm.
knowledge of the tethered existed.
So like here's where I'm at in regards to like let's talk about the original thing for a
Okay.
sec. The
Sure.
whole Hands Across America thing. Uh it took place in an era where like the charity single was huge, like we are the world, we are the children, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
But like apparently this Hands Across America thing was supposed to be like raising awareness for food insecurity,
Hmm.
which I don't know how you necessarily get that from that image. And I don't know how effective that would be.
Are we dissecting the idea of hands across America now? Because
Yes.
I read about it right after this movie came out. Have not looked at the whole thing since. So I am pretty out of the loop if you can fill in a little bit more.
But like the it's what I just said, where it's like it was just this music video where they were trying to raise awareness for food insecurity in America by just having people hold hands.
There was more than just a music video, right? Though.
There probably was a whole campaign around it, but like I don't, again, that main image of just like sea to shining sea holding hands. I don't know how that signifies that intention in the initial work.
Initial work being us or the campaign of
The
Hands Across
campaign.
America. Oh, hmm. That's quite a question that I am not
So
prepared with.
taking that idea,
Okay.
let's what does Mr. Jordan Peele do with this and
Hmm.
recontextualizing it with this film? I feel like by bringing up that imagery and stuff like that, you are consciously tying it to that. So
Yes. But
how does that sort of feed into each other?
well, you brought up the fact that a lot of those charity things seemingly are kind of these facades, like, oh, we'll make it
Right.
better, but they
Yeah.
aren't. And then you get this girl who watches the commercials for Hands Across America. And that's how the film opens. And then she disappears. She's switched back and is replaced with this evil version, quote unquote evil version. And she finally gets a chance to come back. And she's kind of forcing this campaign into being a thing again, trying to make sure that this image is there and letting the world understand that I don't know. It is odd that this girl holds on to the Hands Across America for 20, 30 years and then brings it back.
Right. I mean, like, I know I just asked the question and I haven't posited anything as to an answer. It's because I don't have one.
Yeah. Like
um,
life, there are no answers.
yeah.
And by life, do I mean the Jake Gyllenhaal, Ryan Reynolds space movie? No. I mean the Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence prison movie. There are two movies called Life,
Cool.
at least.
So getting back to us.
I thought we were still on us.
Well, like your life tangent went on.
Okay,
It was
fine.
all
What
over
else?
the
What
place.
do you still want to talk about the Hands Across America?
No, let's go back to us.
It is connected. Okay.
I feel like we've covered Hands Across America.
I feel like we threw it out there.
Yeah, but I don't know what else to say about it.
Let's discuss. Let's figure it out. Let's
Okay,
figure out what it may mean.
So there's
We can move on though if you want to move on.
again, I don't know what to add. Yeah, let's move on. Okay.
What was the opening thing about the underground tunnels? Because all I wrote down in my notes is many have no purpose at all. Do you remember this opening quote it starts off with?
Yes.
It's like no one knew what they were for. Many of them have no purpose at all, right?
I feel like it's setting up that idea of this discarded, like, other half. Because, like, you have the overworld and the underworld. In a sense, where there's that dichotomy. And everyone who's above has, like, complete disregard and, like, doesn't even acknowledge the existence of those below.
Yeah. This is totally a class film, right? Film about
Yes.
class and status.
Yeah.
Let me make sure we're on the same page. One of the things that always hit me that first time I watched it is the fact that the dad is wearing a Howard University sweatshirt the entire time. And I don't know, the Peele commenting on the educated and kind of ignoring the, I don't want to say lesser, but those
just
without
like climbing
the same
that ladder and
advantages
not
and opportunities,
providing more ways to reach up.
Yeah, because in line with the Howard sweatshirt that he wears, it is Howard, right?
Yeah.
Right. In line with
Okay,
that,
just for context, we saw this movie like either
2 or 3 days
yesterday or
ago.
2 days ago, so we might be a little foggy on specific details.
Yeah, we had to push recording a couple of days because of life.
Extenuating
Again,
circumstances.
not the Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal film, but the Martin Lawrence, Eddie Murphy film. But the sweatshirt goes 100% with the fact that when the tethered first appears on the driveway and they're not moving, Dad grabs the bat and in simplest terms, he speaks with a much more blacker voice. You know what I'm talking about? When he starts to threaten.
Yeah, he definitely tries to put on a performance of, like,
he weaponizes it.
Yeah, right, right. Because he does put on a specifically blackish sort of vibe. And I'm not talking the ABC show.
No Anthony Anderson, star
No,
of Transformers.
I don't think he's in this one.
Yeah.
He didn't eat the
And
whole plate this time.
he did it. Not the donut, the plate. And so it is interesting what Peele is playing with in terms of status, opportunities, and those without opportunities. Um,
And sort of like specifically not just with and without opportunities, but like how the specific position you're given literally forces you into a sort of like
yes,
narrow uh not point of view, narrow direction.
yes, and also
Right.
uh narrows down your possibilities and what you can do,
Right.
right?
Down to
And
like this
it's
singular sort of thing where it's like
yes,
when you are like when you do have more means and more opportunities, you can decide. Whereas when you don't, you it's like, all right, I have this much money. This is the bill. I can pay this much, or like something like that, where it's like
Mhm.
111, where everything's decided for you in a sense, and you have no control over it.
I'd like to bring up something that sounds may sound a little weird. Uh, I forget that there's white people in this movie. I completely forget about that second family.
I mean, they're not there for very long,
No,
especially
and it's
not
not
the
that
sisters.
no, and they're not bad. It's just I think I forget how it deepens the narrative by adding the other layer.
Hmm.
Rather than there just being two layers, you see how the black family and the white family reacts to the tether coming up, and they act very differently.
Right,
Lupita's
because go
Lupita's
ahead.
aware that something's happening, something's up, and we got to hold down and protect ourselves.
Because
While
they're always in a more precarious situation than
yes,
their white counterparts,
and then
kind
Elizabeth
of.
Moss decides to die while listening to NWA, which is one of the great uh, jokes of the decade. The crowd always laughed like crazy during that joke.
Well, it wasn't her choice. It was Ophelia's choice.
Which who is that a thing? Who names their fucking voice thing Ophelia?
Well, to be fair, I did look it up before we started recording today, and that is the Greek word for help.
Wait, Ophelia is a character in like is no Ophelia in Hamlet?
Hamlet. Yes,
She did not get help from Hamlet.
she did not.
No.
Derived from ancient Greek Ophelia, benefit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was a choice also, making the Alexa named Ophelia.
But also like I don't know. Of course the white family decided to name Alexa Ophelia.
I don't, I, I don't know if that was like the white family's choice. I feel like in this universe, it's not Alexa, it is Ophelia.
Okay. Okay.
Because like you can't rebrand your Alexa to be like respond to this name now.
I thought you could.
Oh,
Oh no, you can make them call you something different, right?
yeah.
I don't know. I don't have any of these.
Well, neither do I. It's they're listening devices from the government. So like
No, I'm not.
stay
I
woke.
mean, I'm not listening to you. Person listening to this podcast, I'm not listening to you. We're not
No,
selling your
you're
data to the
listening to
government.
us because we're talking about a movie today that's called Us.
Welcome to this episode of the $1 Billion Movie Club. This week we're talking about the what else do we want to talk about with us? I didn't know we were going straight to the analytical stuff. But
One thing I noticed was the first time they go to the Hall of Mirrors thing,
Hmm.
it's a Native American sort of vision quest with like the traditional sort of um headdress and all that stuff on the billboard.
Hmm.
And then when they come to it in the future, it's a wizard.
I didn't realize that. Do you think there's some deeper meaning to that?
Um, I mean, there might be something there about how like you you avoid the blatant racism or something like that by just codifying it separate in a different way.
Mm. Mm.
But like that
Hmm.
might be reaching a little bit.
What if Jordan Peele just loves wizards?
It might just be like changing times, changing
Yeah.
points of view.
I never it never hit me that the little red whistles the itsy bitsy spider. And that song is weirdly a song about perseverance, I think, when you're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing it in this the context of this movie, it's this idea of trying to climb up and getting pushed back down and never fully getting back up, and a cyclical nature that never ends, and you're always stuck at the bottom. And so that struck me really hard this time on this watch.
Hmm.
And then at the end, when the Lupita that dies, because is that the real Lupita? Is it the fake Lupita? Who knows? Starts whistling it. Uh, fuck, that hit me. That got me.
Okay. So now that we're talking about songs,
Okay.
there is one song that's played multiple times that I still don't understand why it's there.
The got 5 on it.
Yes.
Because then the kid could go.
I mean it's a classic. Don't like listen, when you got a song that has a verse that starts with I take sex to the face whenever I can, you know it's a classic.
What is that song? I don't know much about that song.
It's
What is it
weed.
about?
It's weed.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe something about the lyrics. Something I don't know what the lyrics
It's
are.
like he's throwing down fives, like that's his share for like the drugs. It's like he got 5 on it.
One more time, please.
Nah, I don't want to get copy struck.
Good for you. Good for you.
Oh yeah, by the way, when I did finish, once I did finish this movie, one lasting impact was I kept going, I got 5, just like holding out for longer and longer.
I have a feeling that's not the last we're gonna hear of that line in this episode. Something I never realized until this rewatch is the fact that the dad keeps comparing himself to the other dad, to
Mhm.
Josh. I know to say.
Oh right, the white dad.
Yeah. I I don't know. Maybe because Parasite is hit me more, but I kept thinking of Parasite with this, and the fact that it feels like you get this. It starts with the initial dichotomy of the black and the white family. In Parasite, it's the poor and the rich family, and then you add this extra layer of either it's the tethered or the poor family hidden under the basement, and it complicates the nature a bit more when you think it's little, or you might think it's a black and white situation. There's more shades of gray. There's more ambiguity. There's more complications, and that's one of the things I like about this movie, is that there is no solid answer to it.
Yeah, there's no like extremely tight metaphor.
Yeah.
Like everything is sort of malleable
Mhm.
in how it's presented, but it still presents a narrative that functions in a
Yeah.
sense that it's like you're not wondering what's happening on a moment to moment basis.
Yeah. I think this goes into what you were talking about Get Out being more crowd pleasy, audience-y movie, in that there's a clear hero and villain. The
Right.
hero gets what they want at the end, and you can feel a little better about yourself knowing that racism was killed by the end of that movie.
Well, it's also a movie where like all the stakes and all the metaphors and everything is established very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you won't mistake it unless you're specifically not looking for it.
You'd only mistake it if you would vote for Obama a third time if you had the chance.
Right, right.
Juan, did you know that if I had the chance, I'd vote for Obama a second time or first time? It occurs to me I never voted for Obama because I wasn't old enough.
Yeah, we couldn't.
Hmm. There's that.
But I bet you would have had 5.
No, I would have bet 5 on Romney winning just for the hell of it. Like everyone's doing Obama, why not stray from the path?
Listen, the way odds work is like if that did end up happening, you would have banked out big.
Yeah. And Juan, we know the white man usually wins, whether we like it or not. We gotta play with the odds. Any more analytical stuff you want to dig into, or can we start talking about the elements of this movie
Well,
a little
one
more?
more thing that I usually like when it happens in any sort of media
Hmm.
is when like over the course of the story, like there's a dichotomy forming in the main character's appearance, or like they shift.
The physical appearance of like the dirtier, the more scratches on them, the clothes getting messed
Yeah,
up.
stuff like
Okay.
that. For example, in this one, it feels like she starts the night where all the stuff, where the majority of this film happens,
Mhm.
wearing like completely white clothing. And then as it goes on, as she murders more and more, she becomes that red. Like as
Oh, this.
blood splatters
Oh,
on
you're right.
her.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
And like when she was descending that staircase, the white was almost impossible to see.
White on her.
Yes,
Well,
on
there's
her
there's
clothing.
isn't it
When she was
is it,
going down to the
yeah, yeah.
basement thing.
Isn't it it's the dark mirror room. She goes into this like yellow escalator, like
Yeah.
yellow orange escalator, and then she goes into the white hallways.
I mean, like it makes sense later because you do need that delineation between like the two personalities where you need to present the white more in that moment. But like it was nice to have that metaphor there for when she was
Mhm.
by herself. It's like she is, it's harder to distinguish between the two.
Mhm. Do I make an offensive joke right now? Nah, let's not do that.
They were the same actor. You won't get me this time. Since
What's with? Is there a reason Peele decides to focus more on the son than the daughter, and the son's the way his connection with Lupita?
I feel like it also one of the things why I feel like he was given more metaphors or like more stuff.
But why? And like what?
Like he was given the magic stuff, he was given the mask, whereas the daughter only really had the running thing.
Yes, but like, is there something to him holding her secret at the end? Assumedly, right? Assumedly, he knows her secret. He's
Yeah,
pieced it
I
together
think so.
that
Yeah.
she's not the real uh Adelaide.
That was the name of the character.
Yeah, her name's Adelaide, and Red is the red
Cool.
version of Adelaide. Is there
Um,
something to the fact that he silently nods and then pulls the mask down, hiding the truth? Maybe I don't know.
I guess. Yeah, let's go with that. That
Let's
sounds
go with
good.
that. Are we film critics now? Hey, Criterion, if you ever make a Criterion version of us, we got a great film essay to put on it, or like a special feature video.
where like every other sentence is like, I don't know, that seems like it makes sense.
I don't know. I don't know. That seems like it makes sense. I liked that part with the hands. I don't know why. It looked cool.
You know, the mountains and stuff, like just hands
What's
everywhere. It's nice.
what is with that? The ending shot of the landscape. Then you pass by the hands, and then you pull out, and it's like helicopters flying above the woods, and I think a helicopter even explodes.
So like this feels like where we could easily get into a sort of situation where it's, you know, like cinema explained. where it's like we explain what the ending
Oh,
is.
I don't need the literal explanation, but more of like is there a meaning to that? Like, is there?
I feel like it's the idea that like it's impossible to ignore it now.
Yes.
And like the helicopters are an example of like the news or like being seen.
Hmm.
Like it's not just these people that
It's
are
not
there.
it's not isolated events that you can kind of just run away from.
Right.
It's everyone is aware of it now.
Yes.
Okay. Because it is the isn't it that they want the world to know about them or something?
Something. Yeah, yeah.
Something.
You know, it's something. Something
Something.
happens in this movie. There are
Did you
metaphors.
did you know that Jordan Peele's Us is the inspiration for the Beatles song Something? Something in the way she moves. I think that's the words.
I don't know that one.
Hmm.
I, sad to say, I'm a fake Beatles fan. You heard it here first.
Oh, are you more of a cockroach fan?
Now I'm
You're
more
a
of a
big fan.
Papa Roach fan.
Oh, wow. I'm a big fan of La Cucaracha. Oh. So, can
So
we start breaking?
bunnies.
Why? Oh. So, after the cold open, I guess
Yeah.
it's like the TV and then the flashback, right?
Yeah.
And then it's the close up of the bunny, and it pulls back into the room of the bunnies.
So I think I have something for this.
Hold on. May I point out one thing, not really metaphorical, but that always fucks with my mind?
What?
The way the bunny first appears reminds me of that optical illusion of like, is it a bunny or is it a duck? And so my mind goes, I know I'm looking at a bunny, but it looks like a duck's face. And so whenever I watch the movie, it's like flipping back and forth as it pulls out, and it hurts my mind. I think there's an intention to that in the duality and the what do you see, how you see and perceive this image, but it just hurts my mind because it flips back and forth.
I didn't get that. I'll be
What did you
honest.
get?
Um, so the metaphor I got from that is that bunnies can be cloned. I
I
think
think
that's a thing that has been scientifically done.
I know there's Dolly the llama or Dolly the sheep, not Dolly, not the Dolly llama.
Yeah, rabbits are the latest animals to be cloned.
Hmm. So what do you think cloning has to do with this?
That's in 2002. Well, it's sort of like presenting, it's like sort of showing the idea that there is both versions, but like both of them are the person, the above and underneath.
Sure.
Where it's like you can't like they are two separate people, but they are the same.
How are they the same? I think I am on a similar thought uh train as you, but I'm not sure
Well,
what
they're
this
the
has to do with
same
the
in the
bunnies.
sense that like again, this is just me grasping at straws, but
Okay. That's what this entire podcast series has been. Us grasping at straws.
but this feels like the straws are further out of reach.
Oh, so you haven't stretched yet? You haven't stretched yet? You always gotta do a good stretch before you exercise, Pawan.
Yeah. Um so with this one it's well, like the two versions of themselves, they're played by the same actor, so like that is a very intentional choice that does present them as the same, two sides of the same coin, whereas like the bottom half is inextricably tied to the top.
But what about them being why are we showing that they're the two sides of the same coin? That's what I'm wondering. Because I do agree with you. But what is it trying to say about it? Or what can it say about it? I don't know if
Well, there was the there was the fact that the tethered were literally bound to whatever the people above were doing.
Mm, mm, mm. So the repercussions of the choices of the top kind of fall down and affect the bottom, whether they realize it or not.
Right.
Hmm.
Though one thing that I did find interesting was how Red was presenting that sort of idea of like they don't know why they were made or like if there was a creator and they just were abandoned or
Hmm.
whatever. I don't know. I got nothing to say about that. I just found that line interesting.
You think there might be a little religious overtones to it? I never thought of that, but just the way you presented that line.
I mean that is how it's presented in the movie. So yeah.
Hmm. Hmm, hmm.
Um you wanted to talk about other aspects. What other aspects would you like to talk about?
Oh, I've been waiting for us to talk, just kind of fan out about how great the movie and the production and the the actors and everything is.
Right. This is a very tight production.
Not as tight as the Get Out we've established.
Not in terms of metaphor, but tight in terms of this movie is about 2 hours and like it doesn't feel like it's crazy. We watch a movie that's less than 2 hours.
It is nice. I did find this viewing that I don't know. I don't remember the. I feel like I remember the beginning and them first
Mhm.
entering the house and the ending of her fighting the other her, and that middle just is like this weird blob in my mind.
Interesting.
And again, third time watching this, I'll be honest, wasn't in the mood for a movie when I watched it. I just thought like, oh, we have the podcast tomorrow. I guess I'll watch it. So maybe I was just in the wrong headspace.
Best way to watch movies, by the way.
Oh
Just be
yeah,
like,
like
you know what? I've set this goal for myself. I guess I'll have to watch it. Best way to watch movies.
side story. One great example of this. And memories, who remembers if our memories are 100% correct?
They aren't.
But 2005 maybe? My family wanted to watch this movie and I was like, I don't want to because secretly the character scared me. The movie Over the Hedge. And so I have this memory of me like clawing at the wall, trying to not go and then pulling me. I'm like, that can't be real. But eventually I saw the movie and I enjoyed it. But I was not ready to enjoy it because I
You
was
know
scared
what?
of it.
Considering we've firmly established that you're a scaredy cat.
Yes.
How did you sit through these movies?
I've seen it 3 times. And Peele isn't the horror is built in tension. And it's not about the shocking reveal. There's no jump scares in his movies. There's a couple fake outs, but it's never these gruesome, scary creatures that will haunt your dreams and come after you. It is the scariness of, hey, here's a normal looking person, and they're fucked up deep inside. But I am someone who very outwardly surface level, like, you have pins in your face? Get away from me. That's terrible.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because like the other day, complete tangent by the way.
Sure, this is what we do on this podcast.
I decided to watch the director's cut of Doctor Sleep.
You've mentioned this. Go on.
And then I convinced my mom to watch it with me. She does not do the horror movies. And I was like, it's not a horror movie. And she's like, no, it definitely is. And I'm like, I don't see it as a horror movie.
Hmm.
Because there aren't really jump scares. Yes, there are moments where like people are screaming, but like everything's clearly shot and like you see it and it's not like it just pops out.
Yeah. No, I think it's an evolution of the base level horror movie. it has become jump scares. Ah, ooh. And then you get the commercials of like, we were recording the audience while they were watching it. And look, their popcorn flew in the air because they were so scared. Who knows what's in it? And it's about the surprise and the mystery.
I
But
mean, not knocking those types of movies. There is
no,
a time
not at
and place
all.
for those.
Sure.
And like there is a way to blend the two to make something truly great. Like I think Ari Aster is really good at that.
Yes. But I do think there was a good period when the horror movie was defined by like Saw. When it was very much in line
Oh
with
yeah, the
how
gruesome
far,
shock
yeah,
horror sort of thing.
it was in line with comedy at the time. It was just like, how far can you go? The further you go with it, the better, because it will elicit a reaction, whether or not it's a positive reaction, it's a reaction, and that's what matters.
Which is also interesting considering where Saw started from.
I never watched
Again,
Saw.
the first one is very much just a bottle movie.
Wow.
It takes place in one room.
Too bad I will never watch it.
And like there's no like yes, there's like mind games and stuff like that, but like the traps aren't that elaborate. That's something that comes more with the sequels. It's one of those things where it feels like there's an initial movie that had like a really good idea, but then the sequels kept bastardizing it in such a way that it kept like making it into this caricature of itself.
It sounds like, from this and what I've read about, it sounds like they took what people liked and remembered and thought that was all they wanted, the stuff they remembered, when there was more to it than just that big shiny little look at me thing.
Right, like how we got Jarhead sequels.
Isn't that the war movie? Did I make
Yeah.
up that that's a war movie?
Yeah.
There's sequels to Jarhead?
There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Huh.
And they are not as nuanced as the first movie, and they were straight to DVD. Like I think I remember seeing a TV spot or like a trailer for 2 or something like that, and I feel like one of the lines in the trailer was, "I love being in Iraq."
Jarhead was made by Sam Mendes? Whoa. Based on
Yeah,
a
the first
novel.
one was very much a grounded
Hold up.
movie.
Can we point out that you brought up that they were direct to video sequels?
Yes.
Do you think
DVD.
anyone
No, I
watched
said
these
DVD.
movies? Do you think anyone watched them?
There are some people who watch those. Fine. You want me to give a more recent example? The Sicario sequel.
Yeah, I feel like you could give examples that, people watched.
The Sicario sequel was definitely falls into that camp.
Day of Soldado, right?
Yes. Where the director was like, you know what? Let's get rid of Emily Blunt's character because I don't need a light side. My movie is all about darkness.
So yeah, that was our discussion on the horror genre. That was a fun surprise I wasn't expecting. This cast is terrific. A lot of incredible names. Obviously, you got your Lupita Nyong'o's leading the movie, your Elizabeth Moss's and Winston Duke's great supporting turns. Did you recognize the Lupita's dad?
No.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Should I recognize?
Spoiler alert for Watchmen. He's Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Oh.
He is also awesome in The Trial of the Chicago 7. He's gonna be one of the great actors that we talk about.
I mean, I was gonna say something, but like I'm gonna let that go.
What is it?
It related to him as Dr. Manhattan, but nope, I'm not going.
He's gonna be in the 4th Matrix.
I'm looking forward to that.
Huh.
Yes.
So the 4th Matrix brings back people like Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss, obviously. Additionally, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Neil Patrick Harris, Priyanka Chopra, Jonathan Groff. What? What an odd group of actors. Very talented actors, just not what I expected. Yaya's great in the little time he has.
As a deadbeat dad who doesn't carry his weight.
I enjoy Evan Alex as the sons, Jason Wilson and Pluto. Shahadi Wright Joseph plays the daughter. We might talk about her some more because she's the voice of young Nala in The Lion
Hmm.
King. I wasn't aware of that. Oh, she was in Hairspray Live. She was awesome in Hairspray Live. Tim Heidecker. I don't know too much of Tim and Eric. I know people are fans of that.
Right, yeah.
Um,
Heidegger.
I think Lupita, Winston, and Elizabeth Moss are three terrific actors really holding this movie.
Yeah, they gave great performances, but like one thing I did notice while I was watching it this time, I
Mm.
was like, why were people talking about like nominating them for Academy Awards?
The only one that really had traction was Lupita. Are you against the Lupita?
I'm not saying it's a bad
Whoa.
performance. I'm saying it's not an Academy Award winning performance in the
It's
literal sense.
it's not what we think of when we think of Oscar movies.
No,
Will
I
you
mean
agree with
like
that?
even in
Will you agree with
terms,
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like even in terms of like Oscar acting performances, it's not best, it's most in a traditional sense.
Yeah, but that was the year Renee won for Judy.
But like, I could kind of see both sides of the point because like the whole thing is like showing that you're acting with like and like you could kind of get a sense of that when she's playing as Red where like she's really trying to speak.
Yeah. Remember that year. Here's the two people who won the Oscar that year. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The two people who won. And I love both their performances. The winners were Renee Zellweger for Judy and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. So much
Oh
acting in
my
both
god,
those
that was
movies.
2019.
So much acting and great acting, but so much acting. We just gave Mark Ruffalo a Golden Globe and an Emmy for playing a dual role. For
For
he's some HBO miniseries that no one watched.
oh
He's supposed to be
right,
good in it, but just no one watched it. I was so on the Lupita train, especially when we saw the nominations. Um, she because even take away the showy Red performance, right?
Mhm.
Which I think no one would have expected that from Lupita. I think of
What were her
Lupita.
roles before that?
So I was about to say
Yeah.
Lupita's first movie, 12 Years a Slave. Holy crap, is that a debut movie, a debut performance? She's spectacular in it, wins every award, rightfully so, right? And
Again,
always,
also though, that was a very showy movie.
sure,
Yeah.
but
Not that
showy
it's
in
bad.
itself isn't bad.
Yeah.
She's spectacular in the movie. And
Right.
it always bothered me that she seemed to have never became an A-lister after that. I felt like we were waiting for her movie. So I'm on her Wikipedia page right now. Let's talk about her movies after that. 2013, 12 Years a Slave. 2014, Nonstop. Did you know she was in the Liam Neeson plane movie Nonstop?
My Liam Neeson led action movie of choice is unknown.
I don't even which one is unknown.
That's the one where like all I remember at this point is like at the beginning, there's like a car crash over a bridge and like the car goes in the water and like he loses his memory.
Whoa! And this is post taken?
Yes.
Huh. Liam Neeson, good for him. But anyways, Lupita, right? 12 Years a Slave, Nonstop. Then she does Star Wars. She's Maz Kanata. It's a mocap role. So people
Okay.
forget she's in all three of the sequels. She has a voice in the Jungle Book, the live action Jungle Book. She has Queen of Katwe, which is a drama biographical chess movie, which is supposed to be good. Then another Star Wars, and then Black Panther, which
Another Star War.
she's in another Star Wars. We're gonna talk about them. She's in Black Panther, which she does good work, but is just an ensemble film, and so you forget. It's easy to forget she's in it, especially because the other female presence being Denai Guerra, she shows up in the Avenger movies, so she has more of an
Right.
MCU presence.
Wait, so
than,
who was Lupita?
she's his love interest in that movie. See, you forget she's in the movie.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie since I was in theaters, so
Me either.
like,
She's his love interest.
huh.
Nakia, according to this Wikipedia page. And then 2019, she has Us, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, and Little Monsters, which is a little indie zombie movie that is on Hulu. I've been meaning to get to. So I've been waiting for us to get the Lupita movie we deserve. Oh,
You were
she did
waiting
it.
for us.
I was waiting for us. She did do Broadway in between. She did Eclipsed, the Danai Guerra play. And so this is her first leading role after 12 Years a Slave. And yes, she has the showy of the voice and the physicalization of Red, but her work as Adelaide is spectacular as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I when I think of her acting in this movie, I think of the guttural roar she gives as she kills herself, and then kind of breaks down when she has the chains around Red's, if we'll say Red's body in that final scene. That's what I think when I think of Lupita in this movie. She has that wonderful kind of uh on edge way she's trying to calm her son after that. The whole paranoia in the beginning. I think I prefer this than say Charlize Theron in Bombshell.
That's. I mean, why'd you bring that up?
I don't know. Maybe it's because one of them got all the nominations for an okay movie. And I think when we live in a world where Sigourney Weaver was nominated for Aliens, the second Alien movie, like it's been done. We can nominate people for genre movies.
Yeah, but again, that was James Cameron. He's in a different. He's in a different
That
league.
was that was before Avatar. That was before Titanic. That was before True Romance or Terminators. Like I think
But
that's
like,
sorry. I think before T2, not T1.
hmm. I don't know. I feel like James Cameron is just by himself. Even like his entire career, he's just out there.
Yes, but he wasn't like that from the start, was
Hmm.
he? But yeah, I'm totally for. I was for Lupita getting nominated for this movie. Very sad she wasn't. Um, Kind of annoyed that the one black person they nominated that year was Cynthia Erivo for the Slave movie,
Which one?
Harriet.
I don't even remember
It's
that.
about Harriet Tubman.
Well, I
The
figured that
movie's
much.
I don't know. The movie's not great. She's incredible. Cynthia Erivo is one of the great actresses living right now, but yeah, it was disappointing to see her not get the Oscar nomination because she is really just something in this movie. Winston Duke hysterical when he needs to be in this movie. I love I love when he gets on bed getting ready to like uh uh have a night with Lupita and he just spreads his legs. And he has the entire in my note I wrote he has great BDE in this movie. Big dad energy.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
It's very funny.
Like he's got that dorky affect to him.
Mhm.
Dorky
He's
energy.
great. And then I forget Elizabeth Moss is in this movie. She's hysterical, has a like kind of a bitchy character.
Yeah, for that one scene where they're on the like umbrellas and stuff like that. She's like, "Oh, I get it. You don't want to talk." It's like, whatever. It's like, did you notice something new? Just like pulling out her nose or just like calling attention to it.
This is Elizabeth Moss, really one of the great actresses right now. I know I've said that about everyone in this movie, but it's like when you have this talent. But I also love her tethered version of herself when she's looking in the mirror, putting on the
Oh
makeup.
yeah, putting on the
And it
lipstick.
actually, yeah, the her finally getting to use lipstick and makeup and the revelry she finds in that is shockingly beautiful for that character. But then it's the weird moment of her like cutting her face and the blood coming down and that smirk she has on it. Like, goddamn, Elizabeth Moss is good.
I mean, also they're going back to the metaphors and stuff.
Mm,
That could be like a symbol of like I, I no longer want to be tied to this persona,
maybe,
this facade that was forced upon me.
maybe. I might have to burp right now, so I'm gonna mute myself. You build on that.
Well, in the sense that like all these people don't have a choice in it, and like they were forced to live this other person's life for so long. When they look in the mirror, that's who they see. They don't see themselves. They see that version of
Oh,
them.
I see. I see. This is the smart analytical stuff we're looking for in this movie. I was a big fan of the score in this movie too. Um, I like when it got into like kind of choral, scary choral music.
Oh
The best way I could
yeah.
say.
And then
And
like the final fight where they do an orchestral rendition of "I Got Five on It."
wait, is that what they do? I didn't realize that.
I was I had the closed captions on and they literally said "I got five on it," like epics.
We haven't even talked about that final fight. It's wonderfully edited, very tense. I love the build. You get that as Adelaide creeps into the room, you get this close up of Red giving this monologue with Adelaide slowly coming forward.
I mean,
And then
if anything, that's the one moment where it felt like the green screen or like the special effects felt kind of off.
I think it's very obvious that there's some sort of effect in the there's like a blurriness to it almost,
Yeah.
but it felt like an artful uh uh separation of the two images pulled together to me.
I don't know. It felt like for me, it felt sort of like they just didn't get it quite right.
Okay. But I do love the fight. I always think of when Adelaide's like hand is on the table and Red just with the scissors. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Shit's
Where did they
getting
get
real.
those scissors?
This is the cinema explained stuff. And I'm like, how do they get scissors? She's special because she's untethered. How did the others get untethered? I'm like, we don't need those answers.
Well, I mean, that one can be explained metaphorically in that she came from above.
But how did the others get untethered?
So like she showed them the light.
But she doesn't know how she's untethered. She just is.
But like over time, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to like give this is the exact breakdown timeline of what happened.
No.
Just trying to give a plausible explanation. But there we go.
One thing I would like to note with Peele's direction is that because it's not the focus of either movie, you forget how good he is at creating these action sequences.
Hmm.
Whether it's the break-in, I love the break-in, and it turns to like this one continuous shot following Lupita as she pulls her kids into the living room, or you get the final fight at the end, or you get the fight with the twins. I love that first twin who pops out and out of nowhere it's like and falls off the railing.
Automatically hit with the golf club.
Yeah.
I mean, there are moments where it might feel a little staged, but that like adds to the campiness of it.
How so? What do you mean by
Like
a
with
little
that
staged?
moment where it just feels like a little bit too deliberately done, where like it felt like it went on a second too long.
Okay.
Like she waited there just a second too long. But
Interesting.
now
Okay.
we're getting into nitpicky stuff. But yeah,
He and I think we mentioned before, he sets everything up very well. Like how he sets up the closet needing the ambulance to keep it open. No one's like, oh, the door's broken. That's bad. You see it. It's like, okay. I
right, yeah,
remember it
with
now.
the insert shots and all that. Yeah, setting up the traps and all that. In terms of also just the raising of the stakes as the movie goes on. There's like a very like deliberate pace at which it just grows. It's not just like, oh, there's this one moment in the house and now the entire world's in disarray.
Yeah.
Like
You
it
wait.
builds from like one house to two houses to the town, and then by the end you see the entire country.
Mhm. I don't know how I feel about the little dialogue of who are you? We're Americans. Is it too on the nose?
I mean, I feel like there needed to be something
Okay. And I'll say this
because
as
like
someone. I'll say
um
this as someone who the first time I walked out of the movie, I was just kind of like breaking it down, and I remember being like, "Wait, it's called Us, U.S. We live in the U.S." Well, my mind is blown.
again, it feels like the sort of thing where like you're like balancing between art film and like commercial like wide release.
Hmm.
And like you need to drop some obvious hints, if
Okay.
not make it more deliberate.
Hmm.
Because like he could have gone the route where he didn't include stuff like that, and it would have been a lot less easy for us to like again, we're trying harder here than we usually do, but like it would have been even harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you got to have like lines like that provide a key that sort of unlocks the metaphors in a sense.
I'm looking at my notes, and I forgot about the Home Alone reference when the daughter then goes, "What's Home Alone?" And B, Josh's the white dad's boat named B Yacht Yacht B Yacht. Uh,
One thing that again that's another trend. I can't think of another example off the top of my head where it's like they bring up an old reference, but then the kids are like, "What's that?" Just poking fun at
yes,
themselves in a sense. Because like that's our cultural touchstones, but the kids today don't know that.
it does feel like a cheap laugh. I don't know, which is weird because kids know what Home Alone is.
Again, it feels like talking down more
Yes,
so than trying to relate.
but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe kids don't know Home Alone. Um, I liked the moment when the tethered first comes into the house
Mhm.
and Winston Duke's like, "Oh, what do you want? What do you want? Money? Do you want my car? Do you want my keys?" And
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 the and the other I think his other version was named Abraham, which again,
yes,
that's another like
biblical.
metaphor that we
I've
could jump
I've
into.
never read the Bible. Have you?
Your name is Christian, is it not?
Your name's Pawan. Do you know everything about Pawans?
Listen, I know the wind when I feel it.
Do you know everything about Paws? Do you know everything about Paw Patrol? Huh?
Nah, because oh, a cat, including puppies.
Whoa! Even the puppies?
Listen, a cat. It
Okay.
just happened.
But what
Like
about
you
the?
can't stop it.
You're right. You're right.
That's
I
why
saw.
Paw Patrol was canceled.
Oh my God! What is this world we live in? We live in us. That didn't make sense. I thought I was
Nah,
it didn't
I
know.
don't think this is the year for us because like going outside and touching each other's hands, nah.
No, no.
Standing close enough to like link arms, nah. That ain't it.
I'm shocked you didn't bring up the moment where she just yells, "Jason, Jason!"
You know, I completely forgot about it until you brought it up, but like it did play in my mind. Like, okay, so I'm gonna break down what exactly happened in my mind when that happened.
All right.
The first thing was Jason Derulo. And then it was Heavy Rain, which is a video game in which there's a moment where, as a dad, you lose your son at a mall, and there's a button prompt that's repeatedly there that lets you go, Jason, Jason, Jason.
He's calling out to the sun looking for him before he's hit by a car, right?
Yes.
Is that what happens? I forget.
But like, I find it interesting that the first place my mind went to was Jason Derulo. And I think the first song that came into my mind was Talk Dirty to Me, where like it has that sort of like Jason.
Which one
Jason
is that one?
Derulo. That's the one where he doesn't do his name call at the beginning. It was I forget which specific ethnicity, but someone of Asian descent. And like it does a terrible thing at the end where it's like she comes back and she's like, "What? I don't understand." Because the whole song is about like, I don't understand your language, but I can have sex with you.
Oh, Talk Dirty, right? You said
Yeah.
single by Jason Derulo featuring 2 Chainz. Is 2 Chainz the Asian
Yeah.
you're talking about?
No.
Oh no. The song opens and closes with a woman speaking words in broken English.
Yes.
There seems to be no explanation as to who this woman is on Wikipedia.
Nope.
That's fun. Composition.
But yeah, that was specifically my first frame of reference. I don't know. It might have been something in the way she screamed it. But like, yeah, that's where my mind went to for that moment. I was too much in it to take a note, but like as soon as you brought it up, I just mentally went right back there.
You knew it. You were right back there. You're in that place. Huh.
Are you just looking into Talk Dirty by Jason Derulo?
The lead girl from Moonrise Kingdom is in this movie. Playing Nancy. I don't remember a Nancy. So, anything else you want to talk about us?
It's good.
Yeah. Oh my god. After Adelaide kills Red, or fake Adelaide kills fake, I don't know how the fuck we want to refer to this.
I mean, I feel like just the dichotomy of how complicated it gets in terms of there is a clear delineation, but like it does take some thinking to figure it out. There's like something there, but like we've already moved past that section of our analysis.
But yeah, I love the way as Red dies, she hugs Adelaide. Kind of a gesture for like a hands across America thing, maybe.
You know, I think that moment reminded me of Only God Forgives.
The Nicholas
Winding
There
Refn.
we go.
And Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I believe that's Gosling.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Ryan Reynolds star of Life.
I'm not going to say which scene it is because such description is beyond the pale for this podcast. But those in the know.
Okay. Question. That kid really just took a bunny at the end?
Oh yeah, he had it in his lap,
he
right?
had a bunny with him.
Listen, he took destiny into his own hands in that moment. Wow. Because the bunnies were a metaphor for the tethering.
I don't know if it is.
They were so. Well, I'll come back to I'll come back to to that.
What? I have a note that says bunnies/ducks. Oh, I know what I brought that.
You brought that up.
I did bring that up. All right, cool. I think that's pretty much all we have for this analysis.
That's what we got to talk about. That's all we got to talk about us.
Yes. Now, as we know, us is the U.S. and the U.S. far from perfect. Nowhere near perfect.
Nowhere near perfect.
So many problems. How would we fix us? I don't know. I'll take a stab first. I think.
Yeah, you know what? You stab it like Red stabbed Adelaide with them scissors.
I'm gonna take the metaphorical scissors in my hand, and then I'm gonna take a stab at this movie. Fume. Right. So movie ends, and he's petting the little bunny. He's petting the bunny. And then it goes to the weird overshot of the Hands Across America and the helicopters exploding and whatnot. How do you make this movie better? So cut to black. and then you wait 5 seconds, and it says, "Or is it over?" Like text pops up on the screen. Or is it over? Fade back into the last shot of the helicopters in the sky, and then the camera goes up, 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 down, 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 and kind of travels through the forest to try to catch up.
Left, right, A, B, start.
Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and then travels through the forest to catch up with the van. All right, and goes through the back of the van. Dad and daughter are having conversation. Shout out to the daughter and that car scene when the fake her is trying to kill her around the car. That's a great scene we didn't mention. But yeah, the daughter and the dad's having conversation, trying to understand what's going on because Lupita and the son aren't talking. And then close up comes forward to the driver's seat, looking at Lupita. Lupita's talking, but it's muffled. You don't really hear what she's talking about, what she's saying. Because then we go pan over to the son with the mask still on. We're in his mind now. He's thinking, because he's not listening to Lupita. That's why it's muffled, right? The son's sitting there. And then the camera comes, and it's head on face, kind of like a Wes Anderson type portrait-y thingy, where the kid's centered, and and you're looking at the kid. Camera zooms in on the kid's face, right? Goes under the mask, reveals the kid is a bunny in disguise. The bunny has switched places with the kid in the mind, not a physical, more almost like Get Out. What we don't realize is that Red switched their brains before Adelaide got there. So now the bunny's brain is in the kid, and the kid's brain is in the bunny, and the bunny now is planning to take over. It's another step, another tether is about to happen. And so the bunnies are going to take over the world.
That's pretty solid.
That's how I fixed this movie.
That's pretty solid.
Do you think you could fix this movie better than I did?
So we've talked about how Jordan Peele is a master of genres, right?
Yes.
But one genre that he hasn't tackled, the disaster movie.
Okay.
So what I would change is that we have this Hands Across America motif. I'd established that a little bit earlier in the movie, and like there's just a line of them at the top of the country, and they're just walking down and stabbing everything in their path. So it's like a wave that's coming towards them, and they have to escape that, as well as escape the threats that they have directly among themselves. But of course, they ultimately lose.
Is this wave similar to, say, the circle in like Fortnite when it's closing up and you have to run away from it and get to the safe spot? Okay.
Where it's like these red clothed, scissor wielding people are working their way down the country, just like walking and stabbing the entire time. And then the final shot of the movie is they reach the bottom, like Texas border on Mexico, and there lies a single bunny, and one of them goes down to pet it because the bunny was the mastermind all along. That's how I fix it.
I like that we both decide the bunnies are evil.
I mean, like, it gives that vibe.
You know, it starts off, it doesn't start off, but, you know, after the cold open, it starts off with the close-up on the bunnies. They're very important to the plot.
With that, like, musical sting that's supposed to be, like, a sort of scary moment.
Sure. I feel like we somehow avoided talking about the scissors, or just even mentioning them. They're cool.
Oh my God. The metaphor for that was in front of us all along. They're tethered. So like the line, what do you use to cut a line? Scissors. That's why they got scissors.
Oh, did you hear that? I think your doorbell just rang. The Nobel Prize people are there with your Nobel Prize. in literature. Now, Pawan. That was a quick. That's like our quickest. How do we fix this movie session we've had in weeks.
Again, this feels like a sort of thing where like you don't want to explain the metaphors. You leave that up to interpretation.
You don't want to explain the metaphors. You spend the entire first half of this episode.
No. Like, so like as the creator, you don't want to explain the metaphors.
I see. So, Pawan, we've talked about our opinions, how we think we would improve the movie.
But that doesn't matter.
No. Nay. For there's a science.
The most important aspect of artistic endeavors.
Yeah. Facts,
rankings.
Cold hard facts. Yes.
Rankings. Just like, is this better than this? And like, if this thing is better than that thing, why bother with that thing when you have this thing?
Exactly. Now, as we know, this movie did not make $1 billion. And so I think it only makes it right to compare it with the last previous honorary member,
Mhm.
Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Pawan, as we do, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads. So if it's heads, we're going to ask Pawan. If it's tails, we're going to ask myself. And it lands on a heads.
Mhm.
Pawan, do you like the movie Us better or worse than Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
You know, we have been singing its praises, but I think I might have enjoyed it, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, more.
Wow. I think that The Grinch is a more fun movie. Us, I think, is the more interesting movie.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to argue it. They're two great movies. So you say better or worse?
Better.
Wait, you think Us is better?
Oh, wait, no. Worse. Yes. Worse.
All right. So Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas is currently at 21. So on the random number generation.
I'm sorry, we're still at vodka o'clock. So like,
yeah, sorry. On the random number generator, we're going to do a min of 21 and a max of 21.
yes.
And so we're going to get the number of 21.
Damn. Okay.
Wow. Who saw that coming?
I didn't.
I did not either. Neither of us.
Are we going through the?
To recap the list.
Okay.
You want to switch off? One.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
At 47, we got Pirates of the Caribbean sailing on Stranger Tides.
What was that?
47, we got Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
46, Alice in Wonderland.
45, Toy Story 3.
44, Avatar.
41, Transformers Dark of the Moon.
38, Transformers Age of Extinction.
I still can't get over how that ended up above.
I'm sorry you don't agree with science.
No, I feel like, wasn't either one in charge
Yes.
of that?
38, Transformers Age of Extinction.
37, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest.
34, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
33, The Dark Knight Rises.
32, The Dark Knight.
31, Marvel's The Avengers.
28, The Hobbit and An Unexpected Journey.
27, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
26, Jurassic Park.
25, Iron Man 3.
24, Frozen.
Tied at 21, we got Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas and
Us.
there we go.
And
19, we got Titanic.
number 3, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
2, Furious 7.
Number 1, Skyfall. What a list. We have 3 number 21s at least.
Who knows what the third one's going to be? Who knows?
Who knows? So that was this.
Thank you for joining us for another episode. Shout out to Max Lizamacchio for the arts.
You stole my line.
And you know what? We'll see you on next week's episode where we talk about Avengers Age of Ultron.
Currently streaming on Disney Plus. That's going to be an episode.
Join us then when we have riveting discussion about Black Widow, Hulk, Ultron, maybe?
Accents?
Join us then.
Join us then. Thank you for joining us. Do you have a line to end it on? I didn't have a line to end it on.
Oh, wow. I shouldn't have.
I was very confused. You were rushing through
why
the
did I
ending.
clap?
You never rushed through the ending like that. I was confused because you took a hold of
It's
the
us.
ending.
It's us. It's us.
All right, can I say it one more time, but a little more surprise?
It's us.
That's good. Can you one more, but more scared?
It's us.
Now, can I get a deadpan one?
It's us. Brown, 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 brown.
Oh wow. Okay,
And a
that's a
banner,
good one.
banner, banner.
I think we're gonna keep that one. I think we're gonna keep that. That's a cut we're using. Thank you.
Cool, cool.
Thank you. You gave us three choices, and we loved all three of them.